To the meek and to the defenseless, I pledge my strength.
To the throne and to the order, I pledge my blood.
To the creatures of the first song, I pledge my service.
To the 12 and their scions, I pledge my faith.
And to my dragon, I pledge my heart.
Here to go over the faction turn of the Wyrmriders Saga. I still get goosebumps every time I watch that intro. That's like maybe the best intro I've ever made, and I just get goosebumps from it. And that's like my guiding star. Like, I know that like something is up to my standards is when I feel the goosebumps on my forearms. I get goosebumps on my forearms. So like whenever I'm like naming a character or doing anything, I always think about, do I have goosebumps? And if I have goosebumps, then I think it's going to be good. I'm just going to pop in my Discord and let everybody know that the faction turn is live. There's no music on this one. Let me fix that. Boom. Let me bring down the music a little bit so that I feel a little bit more balanced in the mix. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's bring this up here. And where are we starting? That's session 6 recap. So just in general, I'll start with just a really quick recap of the story so far. We started with this group of 4 young people who all met in the town of Palatea when they were children. They went through this crucible called the Festival in the Fire, and by the end of that, they were identified as potential dragon riders. We fast forward to the end of their career, or rather their time at the Soulspire, which is an academy to train said dragon riders. They go on this crucible to the top of the Soulspire, to where the brood mother of dragons watches over all of the eggs. And on choosing day, this is the one time, if you can make it there, that you can walk through the hatchery and potentially find a dragon to bond with you. The dragons have been watching you their entire time as they have been gestating in their eggs. It takes them about 50 years to be ready to hatch. And while they're in their eggs, they're highly psychic. And they can feel all of the students there, and they're looking for soulmates. Our party all become dragon riders, and now that they have done so, they are now currently on the Wending. This is part of their journey to becoming full-fledged riders, with their dragon hatchlings. They begin to travel the countryside on their way to Flame Mount, which is the capital city of the Kingdom of Averine. This is called the Wending. They are supposed to go on adventures during this trip as they make their way to Flameout to participate in a tournament known as the King's Will, WYLL. So the current chapter that we are in is the Wending and the Will. They have faced a few things so far. They faced this blight in the woods that possessed the long dead corpse of a knight known as Kryn. And let's see, they danced with fairies. They've had some interesting times so far. But most recently, they found themselves in the small kingdom of Skyharrow, where they clashed again with the steward of Skyharrow, Jace Lepemne. Jace Lepemne has been abusing his power, taking advantage of the fact that his father, the king, has been in isolation due to the grief of the death of his oldest daughter, who was supposed to be the steward of Skyharrow, as he was moving into retiring from active governance. So that's where we find ourselves. We just saved Liam from Jace Lepemne as we enter this new session that we're about to recap right now. So, we start with Session 8 recap. This took place over the 1st and 2nd of Iccium, which is one of the months of the year in Galdoria. Here we go. We begin with a man speeding along the road at the edge of Skyharrow. A bolt of lightning strikes a tree near him, explodes, then another, then a third, finally knocking him from his Cosney mount. Cosneys, by the way, are horse-sized corgis, because I'm weird and I love corgis. A man in a black cloak with a black dragon mask approaches and stands over the figure. And he says, "Jace Lepemne, you like to hurt people. I like to hurt people too." And we hear his screams as we cut to credits. When we come back, we check in with our heroes. Suavai, as she's been resting for a couple of hours in the infirmary at Skyharrow Keep, spent a week of dream time, a gift from the star that her family communes with. Spends a week of dream time with Malaki, her betrothed, who is back in the Esno Islands. During this short rest, she asks him about the tribe leader coming to the will and what the angle is on her part. Their people rarely get involved in global politics, and she's not sure how to feel about it. Sue wakes up from her dreamcation and sees Liam's being weirdly twitchy, but feeling much better. And that's because he had a very hot encounter with Victor Emberson, which is kind of probably like the main romantic plot of this campaign so far has been the love story between Liam and Victor. Meanwhile, Zoc heads to the Abbey to check in. Cleric Udea meets him so he can unburden himself. He tells her that he's really conflicted. In the fight they had in the previous session, he had difficulty justifying the use of lethal force against a lot of the knights and guards that were sent against us. Udea takes him on this meditative walk and considers what he's said. She puts forth that they were neither meek nor innocent. They made their choice to follow this petulant child of a leader rather than the true king. He allowed mercy whenever possible in the fight and minimized loss of life as a whole. So she reassures him and tells him to trust in Sacrament and in himself. The life of a rider is rarely simple, but the best we can do is to make the next right choice every chance we get. She then confides in him that she once took a life. And she's one of the last of her kind. The Crystal Born were shattered by people who wanted their innate magic, but they did not have a means of defense. One day, a band of Oblaxian mage hunters killed Cleric Udea's family and tried to kill her, but she killed them first. They discussed the difference between killing in the heat of the moment and as an act of self-preservation, and killing someone after some time in an act of cold revenge. they don't really come to a resolution. They just kind of, these are things for them to think about and meditate on. Twyla, meanwhile, talks to the king about her mother and the Great Worm of Knowledge. He says that he met the Great Worm once when he was a young boy, and his father always valued knowledge and education. He also informs her that his nephew Tristane will steward the kingdom in lieu of his living heir, if his living heir is even still alive after that cold open. He also lets her know that he has a quest for the flight, if they're open to it, and he would tell them the details at dinner. So we fast forward to dinner. Dinner begins with this rousing toast to Seraphite and hearty applause. Liam notices the new captain of the guard and approaches him as dinner starts. He says he knows a guard has been dispatched to chase down Jace, but that there was mention of someone who was meant to come here, known as the Techno Witch. She was meant to kill and take the hearts of their dragons. The guard has heard of her. This is a woman who uses arcane technology from Obelux and is said to be quite mad. He agrees to keep an eye out and let them know of any activity. This person's name was Captain Stave, so new character for them to put on their contact sheet. The king tells them about the legends of Pax Valdurin and his knights who protected the kingdom of Sky Harrow. They noticed the statues when they were coming into town, and the blighted knight that they faced was the corpse of one of those knights. This was generations ago. This happened like hundreds of years ago that they protected the kingdom of Sky Harrow. But somehow he lost his dragon in the process and went mad and died at the Soul Spire shortly after. So, in more recent years, Sky Harrow has not been able to afford to keep a rider in their employ for some time. Turns out that when he was young, a chronomancer by the name of Epic killed his father. When he killed his father, he also took an amulet known as the Sky Harrow Stone, which was said to be the source of Sky Harrow's power and prosperity. I really wanted it to have kind of like an Arkenstone vibe. I love those like magic items that don't necessarily do anything, but there's so much, like in my mind, there's so much belief in the thing that the belief in the thing kind of makes it magical. So many people believe that this stone is the source of Sky Harrow's power and prosperity that now that it is missing, people don't have anything to believe in, and that depletes the like innate magic and majesty of this kingdom. He wants to get it back and give it to his nephew to ensure the kingdom's future. And they, of course, take the quest. So in the next session or two, we should hopefully see them find the Dungeon of Time and go on a quite harrowing adventure there. So very excited for that. Let's see what happens next. Oh, yes, the king gets up to retire to his chambers, but Suavai requests a private audience with him before he goes to bed. She tells him where she's from, the Esnoa Islands, and that her family's head will be, the Matua Anga, will be in Flame Mountain for the king's will for the tournament. She asks if he would be willing to spend some time with them at the event and consider allying himself with them. So starting to work some political angles to get some representation for the Esnoa Islands and some political power and some key relationships with key figures in Averine. She also explains that she's next in line to lead the family, to which he responds with respect and honor, calling her Your Grace, which makes her very uncomfortable. Liam takes the party to the Wishing Tree, and they talk about the Techno Witch. They talk about Twyla's missing mother. They talk about the upcoming meeting with the Great Worm of Knowledge. In the previous session, the Great Worm extended audience to Steraflight and gave them a ritual to summon him for a few minutes at the next full moon. Which I'm trying to remember what the full moon is for Ikium. I think it might be the harvest moon. There are 12 moons over Galdoria, and each month a different moon is forward. And so for this month, I believe, for Ikium, it is the harvest moon. So they talk about the upcoming the Great Worm, what they're going to talk to the Great Worm about. They talk about the recent rash of dragon rider and dragon killings as well. And Suavai tells them about the meeting that she had with the king, and they congratulate her. They make their way back to the castle and head to bed. Their dragons have been really sleepy all day, and they're kind of starting to feel really sleepy as well. So they finally pass out. And as they pass out, they have these really intense dreams of their dragons, as they will be when they grow, and flying on their backs and feeling their power. So we go into a sequence of dream vignettes. We start with Zak. Zak finds himself in a very intense dream. He's mounted on his dragon, flying through the sky. Clouds float in and out of his peripherals. Dragons around him have human faces, ashen and filled with dark veins. They hiss as they pass him. He pulls the reins, angling Luce down to get away from these creatures, but they're too quick and begin to tear at Luce's flesh, sending them both into a tailspin. I'm going to sneeze 1 second. Pardon me. Sending them into this downward tailspin. They crash to the ground, and other human-faced dragons land around them threateningly. A large man, not quite human, not quite dragon, somewhere in the middle, about 12 feet tall, with these huge leathery wings, begins to approach. Lifts Luce and raises his hand above their chest, and Zak wheels around to stop the figure's movement. The force of it cracking the earth beneath him, revealing a red glow through the cracks. He wakes up. Can't quite remember the dream. Actually, I think in that moment also, by the way, I'm going to add this in here, that he wills Luce to go into this ethereal state where his hand passes through instead of grabbing her heart. He wakes up from the dream. He can't quite remember. He knows it was a bad dream that he had, but he can't quite remember it. But all that kind of gets pushed to the wayside because he realizes that as he's woken up, that his hair is much longer than it was when he went to bed. And it used to be jet black, but now it has these streaks of bright white. His knuckles have patches of dragon's scale in the same color as Luce. The brown of Luce's scales has darkened, and the light plays off of them, revealing a sheen and accenting the galaxy of white among the dark brown. The room is full of crows and hummingbirds and butterflies that are landing on Zak and Luce, seemingly attracted to them. In this moment, Zak has evolved into a dragon cleric. The bond with his dragon has increased, but also what has increased is his connection to the spiritual as well. We move to Suavai. Suavai dreams of riding her dragon above the sundered sea. She looks up, searching for her star, but realizes that this is not the same sky. She nevertheless hopes that she can visit her family in this dream. Suavai has been walking through dream space a lot in the last few sessions, so I feel like she has a little bit more control. She knows that, oh, I'm in a dream right now. And she's kind of getting used to the telltale signs of dream versus reality. So she hopes that she can visit her family in this dream, but then starts to see the stars begin to blink out of existence above her. She hears this wailing from the sky, this infinite chorus of anguish and sorrow. She tries to sing, to harmonize with the wails, but her voice is gone. She searches the sky for the source of the wailing, but it seems to be everywhere. The whole sky is screaming. Vi feels the anguish and begins to fall from the sky as if she's given up. Sue wraps herself around Vi's neck to comfort her, but she notices her hands and forearms are covered in blood. They're suddenly on the beach, and the sand is red with blood. Vi is dead. Footsteps begin to approach behind Sue Vi, and when she turns around, she sees the red sky that she keeps seeing in her dreams, and the silhouette of the largest man she's ever seen, standing 12 feet tall with wings and 2 long, curved swords. He smiles as he approaches. She breaks into a run and swings at him with her battle axe, trying to take him out from the legs, but the battle axe shatters against the man's armor. He spins deftly and stabs her through the back of her calf, pinning her to the beach. She tries to rip it out to protect Vi, but the sword won't budge, and she gets a clear look at him finally. His skin, it shifts between gold and brown and red and green. It's more scale than flesh. He holds a pulsing silver item in his hand. It's her star's heart, and he bites into it, silver liquid pouring down his face. Nice to meet you, Sue Vi. You could join me, you know. You have great power. I can sense it in you. Something ancient. Something older even than the dragons. Don't you want to save Maliki? This is her betrothed. Don't you want to save the islands? You could sit at my side. She refuses him, and he threatens to take away everything and everyone from her. Or she could ascend with him one day. She replies, where you go, you don't ascend. She tells him. She tells him to fight her and not her family. They aren't who he's after. If you want something to, then she asks his name, and she says, if you want something to call me, you can call me the 13th. She wakes up with no memory of the dream, thinking it was another lovely meeting with Maliki. She realizes that Vi now is much longer than she was, and she's got a red hue between her scales. Sue Vi also notices that she is much taller than she was when she went to bed, now standing 7.5 feet tall. Her hair is curlier than it was before, and she has more tattoos stretching from the base of her neck to her shoulders, and they depict stars representing her family lineage, all the way back to her ancestor namesake. Her muscles are much more defined as well, which she notices in the mirror, having her Tobey Maguire Spider-Man moment. Vi also acts and sounds in her head more grown up, their bond deepening. We then move to Twyla. We see Twyla and her dragon Strom passing magic through and around each other. These tendrils of mystic energy coming from Strom's mouth and curling around Twyla's forearms. They're doing this in the middle of a great snowstorm, flying just above a mountain peak. And they're giving off so much heat. There's so much heat from the magic that they embody, that around her it's creating this, it's changing from a snowstorm to this spring rainstorm in the sphere around them. I say probably 10-foot sphere around them. Suddenly, while they are kind of reveling in the arcane infinite and the power of the arcane infinite, this unknown force grabs the magical tendrils coming from Strom's mouth and begins to pull them down. Strom cannot respond. Strom seems to be frozen in fear and submission, and starts to thrash, but just can't break this connection. But Twyla is able to get through to the deepest parts of Strom, and with Twyla's courage, Strom manages to use her breath weapon to break the connection. Twyla asks what this the 13th what he wants, but he doesn't answer. What he does is they attempt to fly away as he pushes off the mountain to fly in pursuit after them. He pushes with such force that the mountain cracks in half, and part of it begins to shear down to the lands below. She shoots lightning at him as they try to get away. He kind of laughs, catching the lightning with his sword and creating a larger ball of lightning and sending it back and hitting her hard. Strom and Twyla try to get away by flying through the clouds to try and break vision and try and get away that way. But he flies above the clouds as well. And as they fly above the clouds, they see this red sky, and they see these human dragon monstrosities attacking the stars and ripping out their hearts. They see that red sky that was in Suavai's dream. Twyla is defiant as ever, and to which he kind of laughs and he says, I've heard about your tongue. It's that tongue that gets you in so much trouble. And the 13th, just with a thought, rips the tongue out of her mouth and offers her a place by his side. She responds by spitting blood right in his fucking face. He kind of laughs and says, see you soon, as she wakes up. She too, I had each of them roll insight checks when they woke up to see if they could retain any of the dream, but everybody at this point had failed the check and didn't remember the dream. The closest so far was Zach, who remembers it was a bit of a bad dream, but that's about it. So as she wakes up, she thinks she had a nice dream where she was kind of flying with her mom. She's like, oh, that was nice. As she wakes up, she finds that her voice has deepened, and she finds that her veins now glow like fire through her skin, especially in her wrists. And she now has these ridged scales along her cheekbones, and flames in her eyes dance with movement. Meanwhile, Strom is elongated. There's now an emerald sheen to her purple scales, and her eyes are more almond-shaped now with these purple irises. And she's starting to grow horns on her brow and whiskers on her face. Happily, she does the shack cat, the wiggle, 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 wiggle thing, and they begin to play wrestle and wreck the room a little bit because she's still got a little bit of that hatchling in her. Even though she has matured and become larger, I think Strom is probably the most kind of fairest, which is what we call feral dragons. And Strom is definitely the most fairest out of the four. Lastly, Liam. Liam dreams, and he's flying through the air on his dragon, and he feels a heartbeat on his back, and arms around his waist, breath on his cheek as Victor, the object of his affection, leans over his shoulder. His face close to Liam, he whispers, "This is amazing." They're just being cute as hell. And then they kind of have a back and forth, and then Vic gets very toppish and flirts a lot, and they kiss. They haven't kissed in the real world, but in the dream they kissed. It's super hot. They fly on Nyx's back together gloriously. But as they're making out, as they soar through the sky, all of a sudden Liam hears this wet thunk sound, the sound of metal piercing flesh. Victor tenses as he begins to lift off of Liam and into the air above, a long curved blade through his midsection. A tall, winged figure flies above and again with a flick of the wrist, flicks Victor's body off of the sword to tumble into the sky below, but Liam manages to catch Emberson's falling body. Victor looks up at him and tells him to let him go. He'll kill them both. Liam says he doesn't care. And the figure, who is the 13th again, says, "Your life or his? You gotta choose." Liam says, "I won't." And as Liam says, I won't, his eyes go black and shadows twirl around him to grasp his opponent. And the 13th just laughs. You try to use the darkness against me? I am the darkness. And suddenly the dark consumes them all and they can't see anything. They're just in infinite black. He tells Liam to let Victor go, but Liam refuses, so the 13th just cuts off his arm and Victor falls. Liam feels Nyx submitting to this thing, unable to get her to heed his words to pursue Victor to save him from falling. The 13th reassures Liam, says this is just a dream. But as leader of the flight, he's going to have to make a choice. The flight can join the 13th army, or he can hollow out their dragons and leave them all but dead. Then he wakes up. And unlike the others, on a natural 20, Liam remembers that he had this dream. The only one who does. The intense rage at the thought of losing Victor anchors him to his hatred for the one who caused it. He remembers a few things. He remembers the face of the 13th. Not quite man, not quite dragon. He remembers the phrase, the 13th army. Those are the things that kind of stand out in his memory. And then as he wakes up, he realizes the change. Nyx is now the size of a mastiff, much bigger than before, and bigger now than Liam, who's a Stoatkin, so, little guy. The dragon, she's got a low rumble laugh. Liam's hands and feet have gone from the silverish fur that they used to be to black now, and his face markings have turned black as well. He feels a bit stronger and more dexterous than he did the night before. His teeth are longer and more fang-like. His brain also seems to be moving faster. He's like noticing every detail, every blade of grass, everything. The four of them meet up in the hallway and they admire each other's dragons as they reconvene. And the king equips them with extra provisions and mounts, Cosney mounts for them to take for the rest of their wending. Maybe they're going to get through this wending after all. Liam, as we close on the session, thinks of the 13th army and tells Twyla that he's got an inquiry for the list of things to ask the Great Worm of Knowledge about. And then there's a final epilogue. The figure in the black dragon mask from the prelude walks heavily through the forest, grimly wiping blood from his sword. Upon taking off the mask, we see that it was Victor. He pets his dragon. His dragon asks if he's sure if that was the right move. He says he doesn't know if it was right, but it was his move. The dragon then asks him, "Do you think you're ever going to tell him how you feel about him?" Speaking of Liam. He responds, "He is bright and shining and beautiful, and I don't know if I deserve that." And his dragon reassures him, "Even if you don't tell him, know that I love you." And she curls up on him and suggests that he get back to the flight. He decides that he's just too tired and decides to make camp there, and they'll catch up with the flight tomorrow. And as he falls asleep, he too begins to dream. And that's where we left off the session. Whew. Let me take a sip. That's more of a gulp. So that was the session. It was a doozy. We have revealed that the unknown faction is called the 13th Army, and at its head is the 13th. From the context clues we've had, that people trying to rip out hearts, we can assume that this mysterious Vox Ildane is likely part of the 13th Army. Perhaps the Techno Witch too, but we don't know that for certain. But these are things that we can potentially extrapolate from what we've learned thus far. Okay, now that we've gotten that out the way, the other thing we have to do is our faction turn. Let's move here, and let me capture the proper screen. Okay, so I was having trouble thinking about what moves some of these factions were going to make. We bolstered ranks in the Northlands. I think because of that, I think that would be a good place to have a battle happen. So, say, survive the siege of the Northlands. And that'll be... They just got ranks in the previous faction turn. They were to bolster their ranks in the Northlands. So I think it's going to lower the DC for this. So I think we're going to say that the DC is... we're going to say it's a DC of 12. So that should be pretty easy for them. The Verdant Circle, face the Blighted Knight of the Woods. They failed at that, but now the Blighted Knight has been taken down by Tesseraflight. So they don't have to do that anymore, but they are continuing to battle the rot that is taking over the forests in the Midlands. So to battle the Blight. They did lose forces from that previous one, and the Blighted Knight was very difficult. It was a DC 18. But since that was killed, I think that's going to offset it, and I think we're going to set their DC at 15. The Curia Regis. I think for the Curia Regis, we were going to say resist corruption. And they're already, rich and powerful, so I think that's going to be a tough thing for them to do. And I think specifically that's going to be resist corruption from the 13th. Let's add that in there. And the 13th Army, they are going to be recruiting sleeper agents. Like, the 13th Army, as far as most people know, is not a thing that exists, right? This is a new term that has been heard of. This is the first time we have heard the name the 13th Army, both in game, but I also think that this is not something that is very well known, this 13th Army faction. So that's going to be very interesting. We're going to say that's going to be a 16 there. And Urbis Opus. What Urbis Opus is up to right now? I know that there were some things that the party was going to ask of Urbis Opus, so I think we'll hold off on a quest for them until that. There is the Stygian Syndicate, though, and they want information on Tesseraflight. Why do they want information on Tesseraflight? The Stygian Syndicate is basically like the mob, right? And they ran into somebody, Liam specifically ran into somebody when Liam was imprisoned last session. Not this session that was past, but the one before that. And that person is actually quite powerful in the Stygian Syndicate, and none of them knew that. And so that's going to be interesting. All right. Let's roll these things and see what we get. Okay. Now, the first one, recruit sleeper agents. The DC is 15. And I think we're going to use Clandestine for that. And the 13th Army has advantage on Clandestine. It's one of the perks that they took. Okay, so the one was a natural 1, but the other one was a 15. So with that advantage, it's a 15 plus 3, that's 18. That is successful. So they have recruited some sleeper agents, people that you won't know. Are they on the up and up, or have they secretly joined the 13th Army? The Lombardic Order Dragoons, do they survive the siege of the Northlands? This would be a military role. They have advantage on military. It should be very easy for them. They already have a +4 in it and advantage. So let's see what story the dice have to tell. Ooh, a natural 19 +4 for 23. So they have survived the siege of the Northlands. All right, the Verdant Circle they're continuing to battle the Blight. That would be military. They have advantage when protecting the land, so we'll give them advantage on that. But their military is only +2. 13, that's 15, meets it, beats it. So they are being successful as they continue to battle the Blight. They are holding off the spread of the Blight in the forest. And Curia Regis resisting corruption from the 13th. DC 16. What do they roll for that? It's not a military roll. It could be wealth. But I don't think they would try with monetary gain. I think they would try to reach them by leveraging families and whatnot. So I think it's more of a social role. I think it's going to be a popularity role, which they still have a lot of strength and popularity. So I think we're going to do that. Okay. We have resisted corruption. That's a 17 +5. That's a 22. The Curators, I mean, they're definitely corrupt in other ways, but they have not given in to corruption from the 13th. Lastly, information on Tessera flight that's going to be clandestine with advantage. Okay, and they've gotten some information. Specifically, I think about Liam. I think they're looking into, like, the Silverfoot family there. Okay, so we have that. Now, we need to update our faction clocks. The 13th Army, which I can now change this to 13. They have an assassination target that they're working towards. They have 4 pieces of the clock they have to fill. With that last success, they just got another piece of that clock. They're one step forward, closer to achieving that goal. We don't know who the assassination target is or when that assassination will be. I know. You don't know. We'll see what happens. Stop the Blight Rot. The Verdant Circle just got a success on that, so they're one step closer to that. They need 6 pieces of the clock checked off to stop that Blight. Peace Accords, Curitas, they just staved off corruption there. They've been successful the last 3. Curitas has been killing it lately. I forgot to update their thing. So sign Peace Accords. They are 1, 2, 3 steps closer to that. And those accords, so they need to complete that before we get to the King's Will. So they're 1 step closer, and they're looking pretty good. Urbis Opus, we didn't have any quest for them today, so we cannot say whether or not the Iridian expedition is going off yet. That's something that's going to start soon. So I think that clock size, I think we're going to do a 4 o'clock for that one. Okay, that was our faction turn. From there, I have a few things I need to extrapolate here. So, we're going to say the 13th has through some unseemly methods recruited people secretly to join their army. I love the idea of of an army that shouldn't exist. An and anyone around you could be part of that army, and they are just sleepers until they are activated. I love that idea. This army that doesn't exist until it does. I think that that's going to be really fun. But luckily, our heroes were able to figure out, because of that natural 20, Liam was actually able to hold on to that information. So now they are aware that the 13th Army is a thing that exists. And they hopefully will be able to get information about that. Okay, so what else? There was a siege in the Northlands. I'll have to consult my map to figure out the exact place where the siege took place. That was staved off by the extra forces there. The attackers had Obeluxian tech, but once again, the Obeluxian Empire denies any involvement. Have that. The Blight is being held back by the forces of the Verdant Circle. And I think that could be a really good quest for them to find. Like if they, on their winding, meet up with any of the Verdant Circle, they've already been tasked by an aspect of Ikeaon, the god of like nature, to help rid the Blight. So they're like this close to getting like an official like quest from the Verdant Circle to help attack the Blight and banish it from the forest. I don't know, by the way, if that's it, like connected to like the larger story, or if that's just like another thing that is happening concurrently, because it's a big world and things can happen, more than one thing can be happening at the same time. So I don't necessarily know that that's connected to like the larger thing, or if it is part of the larger thing. Like, I don't know. And I don't know if I'll know that until they like hop on that quest, and then I can start to like pull on that thread and see what's there. Okay, and then I think the last thing we're going to say is that since they were successful in that, the Stygian Syndicate wants recompense from Liam and, by extension, to Seraphlight. So I think I'll offer them a Stygian Syndicate quest line as well sometime in the near future, likely while they are in Flame Mount, because, being the Mafia, in like the slums of Flame Mount, I'm sure there's a pretty heavy Syndicate presence there. So we can definitely give them some quests that aren't as noble as options. Okay. So there we go. Now I have my updated things to add into my prep for upcoming sessions. This has been the faction turn. That's pretty much it. That was a longer one than usual. because I had a lot to recap there and a fair amount of quest stuff to do. But we're getting kind of closer to like the crescendo of this next chapter as we're getting closer to Flame Mountain. So we're gonna have some more intense recaps. But that's everything you need to know about the last session, all the key points and everything. Key points. And everything that happened in the previous session. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed recapping it with all of you. I highly suggest tuning in on Mondays to the Wyrmriders Saga because these performers are just doing some amazing stuff. It's really good stuff, and I am really loving it. And if you want to see me playing, you can catch me on Tuesdays over at Guild Superior. I'm doing a Call of Cthulhu campaign over there. We have, I believe, 2 sessions left of that. And then on Wednesdays, I'll be doing our Avatar: The Last Airbender mini campaign. And on Thursdays, we have Triangle Agency, and that is being run by Sadie, and I'm a player in that one also. So we got a lot of stuff going on here during the week over here at Reflect. So be sure to check it out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, here at Reflect, you were seen, you were heard, and you were loved when you're in this space. Thank you very much. That's about it.